Hey, what's up, everybody? Bdf 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so, man, I tell you, some of the stuff that I just had on my mind in the last video, I just kind of imagine I'm going to continue that conversation since it's only been a few seconds. It don't take long to get my rice out of there. But, yeah, man, I just think that when you start looking at some of the things that are being unearthed in these Epstein files, you start looking at some of the stuff that's being unearthed by way of this horrible genocide. You start looking at some of the things that have been happening surrounding that situation, how people behave, and what our media has been doing, all that. I think there's two things that come to mind for me. One, it's hard to trust people that are in control of things right now. I think they've proven themselves in a lot of cases, and many faces of them, to be untrustworthy. Two, it's hard to put our faith in what it is that we'd otherwise pride ourselves in, like our military, to be doing things that they should be doing when we find out not only what's been going on now, but what has been going on in so many different situations in the past that left us being the bad guy. And so I have a hard time with how to view a lot of these things. You got to unlearn a lot of things. You got to unlearn a lot of things that you've been told not to question and have been told not to worry about are things that you very much should be questioning and probably are a lot to worry about. And that's kind of just the theme of what we've been talking about in the last video. So I want people to understand that I'm not against good people or whatever walk of life. I think you can find good and bad in every cluster of humans. You can find people who can be manipulated, people who are easily swayed, people who will stand, people who are irrational, or what. You can find different characteristics in human beings, and no matter what groups or clusters you find, loyal and disloyal, just the same. But I think once people start becoming collectively aligned with pushing a certain narrative or a certain agenda, it becomes a situation where sometimes the good people who are pushing that agenda find themselves just by default in lockstep with the bad people who are pushing what the agenda. Or if the agenda is bad, what you end up having is good people willing to do bad things, or good people willing to turn the other cheek while bad people are doing bad things, simply because they're on the same side as them, or simply because they're on the same team. This is why I say to you, and I don't think it's the right time for a lot of our loved ones, especially our young, our fresh out of high school loved ones, to be joining the military, because the military right now is being controlled by people that I don't believe we can trust. That I've found a great deal of proof at this point that makes it so that trusting them is probably not the wisest choice. Least of all with my life. Least of all with my immortal soul. And I don't think you can trust them. And it's not because I don't trust the men who are serving or the women who are serving. It's because I definitely don't trust the people who are sending them out to war. And so that was my point of view. I think this situation with Iran is probably not in our best interest to be going to war with Iran now. Based on the little that I've been paying attention to in regards to Iran, what I can tell you is people that I've learned to trust their commentary in regards to stuff have made it very clear to me that Iran is not to be toyed with, not even by us, the great American military. We probably shouldn't be toying with them. We should not want to fight them at all. And it's not in our best interest as a country to pick a fight with this particular foe. That they would not otherwise be a foe if not for our allegiance to a country that, really doesn't want what's best for us, as they continue to use us, drain us of valuable resources so that they can go about their intentions. which do not better the world, or barely even better themselves. And so that's what I'm here to say. The more I learn about Israel and Zionism, the more I understand how powerful it is and what makes it as powerful as it is. And what makes it as powerful as it is so many people aligning with it for financial gain and to protect their secrets. If you remove those two variables, that country suddenly is just not the same. It's not the same, man. People doing deals for financial gain with these people, knowing that they are doing unwise things, evil things, immoral things, wicked things. But because they're doing all of that, they have so much leverage and so much power to accomplish so much that can be very lucrative. But the bigger they are, the harder they fall. And they've become very powerful. But they still have a long way to go before they harbor the standalone power that their finances and that their leverage represents. They're a long way away for being able to fight the battles they want to fight without us behind them. They can't stand a chance against their foes without our military. They can't stand a chance to fund their long-term projects, to secure the funding for whatever it is they want to invest in without our support in that regard. They count on us. And the more we learn about them, the less that allegiance with us is secure. The more we learn about their interests and how little it serves anyone other than themselves, the less likely they have the support of the people here. They can have the military based on having the politicians. But as far as public support, that's free falling. And righteously so. Based on what I've learned about these people and what it is they've been up to over the last several years. All I'm saying is, I think we all need to get hip on what's going on there and do understand that when you listen to your media tell you about this war that's coming up, or you listen to your media tell you about what's going on, and who we should be aligning with and who we should be supporting, do understand that your media is controlled and owned by these people, these same people. And because it's owned by these same people, the narrative is going to go a certain way. If you follow me, this is all elementary understanding. We ain't not saying anything that we haven't already proven a million times on this channel, giving so much commentary on the same topic, just verbalized in an easy way to digest in this video. But those people are far from able, without the United States military and United States funding, to accomplish their goals that are not necessarily meant for the benefit of the United States. And they will point us in directions that are maybe not in our best interest to be pointed at. They have us picking fights with people that you may not be able to beat up, so to speak. You may not be able to win that war, but you're going to be pointed at it. And that's something I want to tell people. That war with Iran, that's not one you want to take on if you're the Americans. You do not want that. You don't want them dramas. Those people got nuclear war weapons ready for you. Ready for you. And a lot of what it is that we know here, with a lot of the stuff that we're comfortable with, it could all be decimated rather quickly if we pick the fight with them and they decide to point it at our civilians. I don't know that they'll do that. I don't know that I have no idea. But I'm telling you, if they decide to point at non-military targets, it could be some changes that are not very kind for us, man. That's what I will say. It could be unkind. And when that takes place with the people that we have in control of this, there's no guarantee that there won't be more decimation, friendly fire decimation as well, just off of the bloodthirst that these people have proven they already have in Gaza. So I'm telling you that there's a good chance, just based on what it is that they've shown me, that if they happen to get into a fight with Iran, that they could start doing friendly fire, saying that it's Iran doing it. I think we should expect that at this point. That's what I want people to understand. There is a damn good chance that that is part of the strategy that they will go forward with. For multiple reasons, multiple things that they will be trying to accomplish by doing that. Multiple. So that's what I'm saying. Like, friendly fire is something that you would never expect, but when you got people, ops controlling homes, so to speak, you damn right you can expect friendly fire. So we're in a dangerous space, man. I think the average human being is going to have to, we're going to have to embrace ourselves for the potential of devastating losses, man. You've already seen what these people did in Gaza. I don't think it's crazy to think that they do the same thing to one of our cities or one of our states. I don't think that's crazy to expect something like that over the next several years, dude. I don't. These are awful human beings, and they're picking fights with people that can do devastating things. People who, if you leave them alone, probably ain't gonna even do anything at all. They're not. Iran is minding its own business, man. This is what I want to say. Iran is minding its own business. Based on what it is I'm learning, they're not interested in fighting nobody. They got their own problems, and their government may not, they may not always be on the right side of things themselves. They got a government that is, highly questionable themselves. But Israel's trying to take over because of it, I think. But Israel's a much significantly worse demon if that's the right way to word it. Not to say that I know that Iran is a demonic government or whatever, but I'm just saying, if they're no good, whoever's trying to take over right now is significantly worse. And I don't think people really understand what way to go, because the Zionists are pushing overthrowing the Iranian government. And a lot of people think to support Iran is to do that because they have a bad government or whatever the case may be. And what I understand is, if you're letting the devil in the room, you're not fixing the problem. If there is a bad government, supporting overthrowing their government and letting Israel take over is bad for them, and of course bad for the world, because now what you end up having is Israel in control of their army too, which is also, as I said, a very devastating army. And see, that's what this appears to be about, in my opinion. If they can overthrow Iran and get a hold of Iran's weapons, they become double as powerful, and then they can embolden themselves with more of the same, of what it is that we've been seeing. It's one thing to have control of American armies. It's another thing to have control of American and Iranian armies. Then nobody can hold them accountable, and then they can be more bold about what it is they're asking, what they're demanding, what their intentions are. They can start treating people significantly worse than they already do. And most importantly, what America needs to understand, and this is real. American people, you and I, we need to understand that if they get a hold of the Iranian army, then that makes us more disposable to them. They don't need us anymore. While America is doing whatever it is that they want us to do, because most of our government is just hog-tied by their guilt in some seriously messed up ways, they're hanging us all out to dry just to save their own asses. So like I said, this speaks to what it has already been saying. If the op is controlling you, then he has no problem discarding of you when he no longer needs you. And if he gets a hold, and this is just my speculation, but it makes sense, it's 2 and 2. If he is now in control of the Iranian government and the Iranian army and the Iranian land, then how bad does he really need the U.S.? we're going to start finding out how they really feel about us, what their real intentions are toward us. And judging by what they've done to the people of Gaza, I think we should be extremely concerned about what that looks like. Extremely concerned. While we're thinking about the Epstein files and thinking about this and that, then people are trying to get the leverage to make us disposable, completely disposable. And judging by how they move racially, judging by what they think of everybody who's not them, we could all find ourselves in some unprecedented, biblical-like nightmares with them in control of enough to make us disposable. They still got to act kind for now, because they still need us. When they don't need us anymore, how kind do you think they're going to act? That's what I'm asking all of us. Bdf 44, thank you all for watching. I'm out.